if you're not getting, DPOY level Draymond Green, all world Draymond Green on defense, then that's what happens. You get a negative Draymond Green and he ends up hurting your team. The Mismatch, presented by FanDuel Sportsbook.
Golden State, outside of Curry, they really need to do it for each other. And if Draymond's going to be crap, that becomes very, 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 very difficult. His assist total cannot be an anemically low assist total because Curry just can't score the points and have to create for everybody else.
I mean, Draymond was terrible.
Terrible.
He had a horrible game.
Yeah.
He was really good in game 2. He was bad in game 1. He was bad in game 3. I think for the Warriors, there was in the past, in his prime years, there was a level of expectation that you knew you were getting a defensive player of the year caliber level guy. Right now with Golden State, I don't think that you can have that expectation. So not only right now is he at times an offensive liability because he is a non-threat to shoot. The Celtics help off him, pretty much every single possession he's behind the arc. Even without the ball in his hands, they know he's not a threat to score. They're playing him to pass. And if he's not making up for it with all-world defense, which he wasn't in game 1, his off-ball defense was very poor, very sloppy. In game 2, he was tremendous. In game 3, again, on ball against Jaylen Brown, did not do a great job stopping, containing dribble penetration. Off ball, I thought he made some mistakes as well, including against Jaylen Brown in that first half with some of his rotations. So if you're not getting, DPOY level Draymond Green, all world Draymond Green on defense, then that's what happens. You get a negative Draymond Green and he ends up hurting your team. So we'll see for game 4. He could turn around and have another great game. It's up and down with him now. It's not consistent like it used to be where you always got defense.
Well, and I mentioned this on Tuesday that I thought Boston would be able to get game 3 because I covered that Golden State-Memphis series, and Golden State feels like one of those teams that when they have to win, when they feel like, okay, this is one we really got to get, that you get a different level of that, specious force that Draymond talks about, and they talk about playing with force, playing with energy, playing with all of these different things. And it's like when they lose, they say, we didn't bring that to the table. And then they have this confidence of, we'll bring that to the table next time. When we have to win, we're going to do the things, and that gets intensely frustrating, I can imagine, if you are a fan, right? Because there's nothing more annoying than people saying, we know what we need to do better, we can be better, we will be better. Like, why don't you just do it? But this has been, and they have, maybe it'll end up coming to bite them, but they have lived up to this. They have routinely said, we didn't come out the way we needed to come out. We didn't make them feel us. We didn't play with force. We didn't do this. We didn't do that. And we will. And it's like, so you only do it when you have to. And maybe that is, that's not exactly killer instinct stuff, but maybe that is just par for the course for a team that's been to 5 finals that always feels like it's going to be okay. Things are going to be okay. Because you see the confidence / arrogance that he is speaking with.
Well, what is it?
Right?
Is it confidence or is it arrogance? I mean, I guess we'll find out after the series.
Yeah, it's dependent on whether you win or not, right? But, he's saying, CJ McCollum, you'll still be ringless like the Celtics, and we're going to, I'm going to show everybody my ring after we're done. And at the end, he's talking like they're going to win the series. Like that was not that big of a deal, and we know what we need to do. I know what I need to do. I was bad, and it's like, bro, I don't get it. But in fairness, they have responded when they've had to.
I was on the other side of this. As a Patriots fan growing up, I remember the 16-0 season when the Patriots were 16-0, they go 18-0, and then they're facing the New York Giants in the Super Bowl. And I forget who made the prediction, but somebody said the Patriots will score only 17 points in the game. From the Giants side said that. And Tom Brady said at his media day presser, he's like, we're only going to score 17 points? No, this is an all-time great offense.
Right.
Like, of course we're going to score more than 17. And the Patriots scored only 14 in the game. They lost. It was one of the worst nights of my life, personally. Losing that game, going 18-1. But, there was that level of confidence from the Patriots entering that Super Bowl that they were going to do what they've always done. And then they didn't. And they lost. And so I sometimes I get that sense with Draymond where the whole year it's been like, we're going to be okay. We're going to win the championship. We're going to win the championship. We're going to win the championship. And maybe they will. But the fact is that this Celtics defense is, different on defense. It's different.
At some point, do you get caught trying to turn it up? Because there's no question. We've seen it.
Yeah, I know
We've
what you
seen
mean.
it throughout these playoffs where they do turn it up. They say, we need to do this, we need to do that, we need to do this. And to their credit, they've been able to do it.
Mm-hmm.
They have, you saw how they came to the table in game 2 after what was a rather humiliating game 1 loss. To get outscored in that manner on your home court in a quarter, when you're giving up 40 plus in a quarter and you're up by double digits and you lose by double digits on your home floor, rather humiliating. And yet they turned around and had this huge response in game 2. So I think that's what makes tonight so insanely fascinating. Because it's going to be one of those, do they have that response? Is all that stuff he says going to come true? Or does his playing with force, as he says, playing with intensity, we didn't play hard enough? And you remember those, people were talking about those stats that were like the second spectrum where they talk about, how much you move and how much you close out and all of basically your defensive activity. And what it told even the staffers for Golden State was, we didn't play hard enough in game 1. And so then they get that message to them, and then they play mega hard in game 2. And then they come out in game 3 and they say after the game, we didn't play hard enough. And then, right? I don't, it's kind of ridiculous that appears to be true, and rather annoying that it said, yeah, we just need to play harder. And for it to feel like that is so, that, you see this different level of activity, different level of physicality from them when they have to do it. But at some point, do you just get tripped up?
Well, I mean, you do have to do it now. It's the NBA Finals, right?
You'd feel like that, but they're like one of those teams that's like, all right, we don't need to go down 3-1, so we'll bring it tonight. We'll bring that requisite amount of energy, force, physicality. And I'm not saying this. I'm talking about what Draymond is saying in his post-game press conference. I'm talking about what these other guys are saying in their post-game press conference. That when it comes down to it, this is why we lost. They didn't feel us. We didn't play with force. We didn't come with the intensity. We didn't match their intensity. Like all this, cliche stuff that appears to be applicable. I don't know. Like, why aren't you flying around the rest of the time, every game?
I mean, it's also possible they're just not as good as the Celtics.
It's certainly a possibility.